I'm Jamie J. Carr,
And I'm Richie F.
and this is the One Leg
One Eye
Podcast.
Here.
Hello, everybody. Is that a good start? Hello, everybody. And welcome to the One Leg, One Eye Podcast with myself, Jamie J. Carr. It's Richie F. And today, our second guest, which you don't see this all the time on podcast, have such great guests for the first two episodes, Richie.
I think we've been blessed.
We have been. Is Artem Lobov. What's the crack, man? How are you?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, guys. Thank you so much for the invite. Everything is good, I suppose. I've been enjoying retirement lately. The new year started, loads of plans ahead, and let's see how it goes. Today we're here. Hopefully have a bit of fun.
Yeah, no, we'll have a laugh, definitely. I'm excited to have you here. Obviously, we did the charity event a couple of months back with the wheelchair boxing, and I met you there, and I just thought you were one of the nicest gentlemen ever. So many people coming up to you on the day that were fans, and I know you weren't there, Richie, because you're not popular enough yet. You know,
yeah. I'm sorry about that.
Maybe after a few episodes, you'll start getting invites to stuff.
Probably not.
But I was just watching everybody on the day because I was a bit like awestruck by everybody, all these social media people and celebrities and stuff, and I just seen you and you just had time for everybody, and going around taking pictures with everybody and chatting to people, and I was just like, this chap is a proper gentleman. So yeah, I was like, I have to get him on the podcast for a chat.
I don't know, sure, honestly, to me, like, I'm always kind of a little bit surprised still, like, why would anybody want a picture with me? But if they do, that's no issue for me, I'm happy. I'm more than happy to do it, to be honest, even I remember at the start when Conor kind of started to get famous and people started coming up to him asking for pictures, I was always like, well, why do you want a picture with this guy? Like, that's just Conor, like, what? But obviously after, a while, you kind of start to understand, okay, he's a celebrity, he's very famous, that's, I guess it means something to people. So, but to me personally, I never really got it for some reason. But, of course, if people want to do it, I feel very humbled by it and definitely more than happy to do it.
What's that like to be catapulted into fame like that? What's it like?
Well, to be honest, I've never really been catapulted into that sort of fame, but the little kind of fame that came my way, I suppose.
Well, just stop, you're a superstar. Everybody in Ireland loves you.
But to be honest, I don't know. Nothing really changed for me in that sense. Like I said, it's just sometimes now, people recognize you. And at the start, it was really weird because I always felt like somebody said to me, hey, Artem, or whatever. I felt like, I must know this person. So I'm trying to like remember where I've seen them. Who is this person, trying, because obviously you don't want to be like, rude or whatever, that you just don't remember who this is, but then after a while you get used to, okay, maybe, I don't know everybody, this is just someone that might have seen me on TV or whatever, in an interview. So that side was a little bit kind of weird and, to get used to, but other than that, nothing really changed, I just go with my life, very, very the same as I did before. Another actually thing that caught me off guard at the start was Facebook. Because when you just, before all this, anytime somebody sends you a friend request, you just accept it because, it's most likely someone that actually does know you, so you just accept it. So initially when I started getting a bit of fame, I started getting all these Facebook requests, and I would accept everyone because I just thought like, Facebook, new friend, yay, someone else wants to be my friend. So you're accepting everybody. And then before I knew it, there was like 5,000 limit was reached.
Oh, God.
And then when I want to add somebody that I actually do know, I couldn't. And then I tried to like clean it a little bit, but no, it never worked. And, I just kind of realized that I just messed my Facebook up. And then actually as well, another thing happened with Facebook as well, because back in the day, like, you'd have your friends and you would ask some question, and genuine answers would pop up, or some issue, like same I would be looking for a fight or something, and I would put it up and genuine people would be responding to it. But then when this had happened, when I added all these random people, someone reached out to me and they were looking for a fight. So I said, hold on a second. I know a lot of people in the community. I'll I'll get you a fight quick now. So I do a post on my Facebook saying, hey guys, this and this guy, at this weight class looking for a fight. Anybody knows anything, let me know. I'm not messing. Within a couple of hours, they just made a complete joke out of this whole post. Fucking people start posting shit. I'll fight him, and I'll do it for a fucking burger. And they just made a complete mess out of it, and there was no one legit reply. And I was like, okay, this isn't gonna work anymore. So yeah, those kind of like some funny stories along the way, but
that's what Facebook is now. Even with the the likes of the Northside Dublin help posts, the groups that they have, someone could just say, I'm looking to buy a hose, and it'll just be just catch on, and everyone will comment under it, just slating the person or having the crack. It's just the way it is now, isn't it? It's
which way social media is at the going as well, because it's not just any random Joe Soap that's that has access to your information. It's the public. So some of the posts that you make is open to the public, and anyone can comment on it, and you get a lot of like trolls. A lot, no matter like where you are or what you do, you're gonna get a ton of trolls. Like, and no matter what you say, it's gonna be picked up in a certain way. And even as you were saying, you posted about a fight, and because you added all these random people, you just had everyone like, I'll fight him for a bag of chips. Yeah, just get us and here I'll do a bonus round for a tub of garlic sauce as well. But like it's one of those things that like you didn't know if you added these people what was going to happen of it. So would you recommend anyone coming into stardom to make a personal profile and then maybe a page or like another profile just for like fans and stuff like that? Would that have been better for you to post to a more professional style?
Yeah, I mean, probably, yeah, I'd say so. I've never done that myself personally, so I don't really know how that would have gone, or would that even have worked, because chances are people will still find your personal page also.
Just have a fake one called Jerry Springer or something. And only like 6 people know it's really you, and it's a picture of Jerry Springer like that. But then maybe they'll follow thinking it's actually Jerry Springer.
So maybe we could do like the Russian Hammer time or something like this, where we get MC Hammer's pants and just Photoshop a picture together. But like
what are you talking about?
Just random stuff. I love randomizing things, But no, like I do understand that like when you come into fame, if you're humble, like you seem extremely humble to me, and I'm only after meeting you, and we talked for maybe 15 minutes before the podcast, but I do think that you're a humble kind of guy, and like you're one of those people that right, I'm not gonna give myself a big head and make it a professional page just for me, because with like some of the things that we were talking about beforehand, like you are wondering like why are people wanting to take photos and stuff like that, and that's something someone humble would say, like why are these people coming up to ask me for photographs? And like I've had this in college, and I've had it with streaming, and I'm gonna ask yourself, do you ever have the imposter syndrome where you think, is is this the person who I am? Like am I famous? Like why am I famous? Like
No, to be honest, I don't even actually think about it at all. I just wake up,
go with the flow.
I have a shower, I have my breakfast, and off I go,
Yeah.
I'm walking through the shops, whatever, and, buying a bit of, buying some nappies for my kid. Some guy comes up, he wants a picture, no problem. Take a quick pic, and off I continue, buying nappies for my kid. I don't really, honestly, I just don't even think about it at all. It's just... No.
Do you ever get any weird messages? Like, because I'm sure when you reach a certain level, I know you have like over 100,000 on Instagram, and Twitter is very big for you, and as you said, your Facebook. Do you ever get any weird ones? Because you seem like the type of person that would try and respond to a few and say thank you for the compliment, or
I'll be honest with you. I don't even look in. Like on Instagram, you have like the other messages or whatever of people that you don't follow.
That's a
Requests.
dark place.
Yeah.
I almost
that's a
never
dark
go there
place.
anymore because anytime I used to go, it's just full of weird messages, and I used to go there all the time thinking, oh, some brand is gonna reach out to me or some unbelievable proposition is gonna be there. No, it's just people slagging you or some weird shit or there's literally nothing good happens in that place. So I don't really then I just stopped even going there. Every now and again I go in there just out of curiosity and when you're bored, but almost rarely I go there. And the same, like back in the day I used to reply to some of the fans like some legit and all this kind of crap and weirdness. You would dig up somebody genuine fan sometimes, and I would respond to them, and I actually stay in touch with some of them till this day. Like we still communicate, and we never met, just literally through Instagram or whatever, but not really anymore. Not recently. That's
And you had to take a step back.
because like I said, you can't be digging in like piles and piles of all this crap just to find one. Even though you of course would love to
Can you remember
connect.
any weird ones though? Does that stand out over the years, particularly over the last 5-6 years when everything was really blowing up for you? And
No, I don't really remember any because like I said, you have to look through loads to find, because I'm sure there's sometimes I see on Twitter or whatever, people tag me in some funny memes or whatever, the goat memes, and I enjoy. Some of them are really funny, but there's literally most of it is abuse. You're a prick, or you're this, you're that, you're shit, or you're okay, great. I mean, thank you.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Yeah.
I can remember some that I've got. A common one that I get, and I'm not even near your level, but from some of the videos I've made that went viral, and it's particularly after I do an interview about my leg and how I lost it and stuff, I get asked, now not a lot, just a couple of times it's happened where someone would say, I will pay you if you send me a picture of you without your leg on. And I don't know what they want the picture for.
That's
now,
weird.
I'll stop sending them. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, this is obviously, you had a serious issue. The only, in terms of physical, I ever lost was my hair. And nobody seems to want the picture of me without my hair. I would be very happy to oblige, no bother at all. I wore a hat today, just not to ruin, your podcast with some of the shine of my head. I normally never even wear hats, to be honest. They're making me look stupid, but I have come to an age where looking stupid is no longer something I'm worried about.
You don't look stupid.
No, not at all. Sure, on Twitch, I have a thing that people can redeem, and Jamie just loves redeeming it all the time, and it's turn your hat around. If people go into your channel and you can build these points up, from watching you, it's like a little reward, and then you can reward them by doing something. So you can actually turn it into something physical, like push-ups and stuff like that to get healthy. And I have mine because I used to always wear a hat, and I don't anymore. And Jamie comes in all the time, clicking this, redeeming this, spin your hat around, and then I have to go look for a hat. And then by the time I come back, there's I'm at the missing loads of chat. So yeah, if anyone looks stupid for putting a hat on, it's definitely me because with that stuff. But no, you look smart, and you I can only imagine that shine. You know?
That's shine. Maybe one way I have to set it up on Twitch. If anybody wants to be blinded by my shine, and I take my hat off.
Yeah, let us know, by the way, in the comment section. Would you like to see Artem Lobov do a couple of Twitch streams? I'd be interested to see, and I'm sure you would be as well. People would be.
I've never done it. As far as technology, I'm terrible, honestly. I'm whatever technology was available when I was born, that's all I know how to use.
We're gonna teach you the ways, Artem. You're gonna be the biggest Twitch streamer in the world. Is that meant to be on green there, Richie, or did it turn off? So Artem, how are you finding retirement? I know the last time I spoke to you at the Stevo's charity wheelchair event that you were telling me you're finished and stuff like that, and you were saying it's a bit difficult.
Yeah, of course. It's had been a big part of my life. And something that I really loved. I feel different from retiring from, like, let's say, a job that you weren't really happy with that much, and you were really looking forward to retirement. This was different. Obviously, this was something that I loved, something that was part of my life essentially. So it wasn't easy, especially at the start. Okay, should I go to the gym? Well, why? I'm not gonna get paid for it. So what's the point? I should be doing something else. Something that is gonna allow me to provide for my family. I can't just go to the gym now. It's just leisure. This is not work anymore. So me going to the gym, well, I can't just do that. I have a family to feed, so I should be doing other things. Those were the kind of thoughts going through my head. But now it's all good. I have a good system in place. I'm okay financially, so that's obviously a big thing, especially I feel for a man, to be able to provide for your family. It's a very important part, of your life, especially when you have kids and a family. But yeah, it's good. Like anything, humans, we adapt to anything. We adapt to all kinds of situations. Like, look, for me, maybe looking, I look at you, and when the first time I saw, you have a prosthetic leg, I'm like in shock. Oh my God, how, you straight away trying to apply it to your own life. Jesus, how would I be able to cope with that? And it seems, so impossible to cope with. But then, I get to know you, I'm talking to you, and I realize, no, his life is not much different to mine. He is living, and everything is good, and it's perfect. So I guess it's the same here. You adapt and you overcome. People lived in gulags in during the Stalin era in Russia, and like I'm actually recently read the Solzhenitsyn book, Archipelago Gulag. That's the name of the book, or Gulag Archipelago, I believe it's called in English. And like people managed to survive there and make. Not just even survive, but they managed to have a life in there. They managed to have relationships in those crazy conditions. They managed to, find happiness in those conditions. They managed to have a laugh in those crazy conditions. And I mean, the life that we're having now, I mean, what's retirement compared to what those people went through, and it's not in a way that, oh my God, they lived so bad, I should be happy with what I have. I don't look at it that way, but I can see that, look, if it's possible to do it in those difficult situations, well, then I shouldn't even dare, nearly feel sorry for myself. I should just get on with life and just be happy and celebrate it and enjoy it. So yeah, it's you adapt, you get used to anything, and you find new things, new challenges, new things to be happy about and occupy yourself with. It is also a lot easier to do that when you are a father. When you have a kid, all your attention is on your kid. So it's a lot easier to find happiness, I feel, as a father. So yeah, it's
So
I feel good.
fatherhood in a way as well, with using different comparisons of how other people live their lives has helping you get through it. Because I can only imagine the way you can only imagine kind of what it's like for me, and what it has been like for me to live my whole life missing a leg. I can only imagine and try to imagine what it would be like to live in such a whirlwind world of fighting, and the intensity levels and the adrenaline, and that's not just on fight night. That's 6 weeks before, 5 weeks before, the countdown all the time to something else. When that ends, it must be like, where's the countdown gone? Where's the what am I waiting on? What am I doing here? So how have you adapted? What have you done to make those changes going forward?
Yeah, I guess you just stay busy. Yeah, I mean, it is, definitely like that. And like I already mentioned, that it's different from retiring a job that you might not enjoy as much. And I have experience of that too. Like there was, a good few years back, I retired from, I used to work for a big corporate bank, and I retired from banking so I could pursue my MMA career. But those feelings were completely different to when I retired from fighting. That time when I retired, it was happy feelings, feelings of, oh yes, more weights now in the MMA world, in the fighting world. I'll be able to have a lot more time to do all that, and I'll be able to spend more time training. This will, improve me, improve my level, allow me to reach new heights. So when I retired this time, I didn't have those feelings, but I tried to kind of remind myself of that situation, because I retired something that I still love, but it does also mean that I have more time to do other things now, to pursue other things, to spend more time with my kid, to spend more time on perhaps other businesses that I was planning to do and weren't able to do. Because when I was fighting professionally, it was very hard to do anything else. You train first time, let's say you wake up, whatever, you have breakfast, you go to train, then you come back really tired, you want to play a little bit with your kid or whatever, rest, and then it's time to go train again. And sometimes there was days where I had to do something, business related or something, and I was just so lazy, and I'm like, number one, lazy from tiredness, and number two, lazy from a sense that I didn't really need to do it, because I knew a payday was coming when I was going to fight. So I was like, okay, just, rest is more important, just kind of justifying my own head not doing it. I was like, rest is more important, I need to train again because I need to perform. So once I didn't have that, well, now it kind of allowed me to have more freedom to pursue other things. Just have to occupy yourself and stay busy. It's very important with whatever it is that you want to do. It's obviously very hard to find something that you love that will also pay your bills. I mean, it's near impossible for most people to even find it once, but to find it twice, I mean, that's probably really, really hard. And I guess I am in the process now of searching for something like that, because I understand that if you want to be really, really successful at something, it is important to have that love. The reason being is that if you don't love something, you're not going to spend enough time on that thing to be successful. Because if you will be doing something that you don't love, I guarantee you that there are other people doing the same thing and they love doing that thing. So you're competing with them, and there is no way you're going to be able to spend as much time on this thing as they will, because they love and they want to do it as much as possible. So if you want to be really successful at something, it has to be something that you're passionate about, that's something that you really enjoy doing and you love doing, and then the success will come. So I am now in the process of I guess finding something like that.
Mm-hmm. Would you ever think of like UFC commentary or something around that world of MMA or coaching? I think I asked you that in person. You said I don't think you'd be into the coaching.
I don't think coaching, like now, for example, now just this week I was down at SBG Nace coaching a couple of classes, and I absolutely love doing that in terms of sharing some of the knowledge. But to be like a full-time coach, I don't think it's something for me, because it's a whole, you need to be good at just coaching, not just fighting, not just understand fighting, because you need to take a group of guys and you have to have like a plan, and it's constant interaction with them. It's mental coaching as well as physical coaching, and I'm not sure I would be good at that. But sharing knowledge, I absolutely love that, because I've got a ton of knowledge, more than a lot of the guys, of real fight knowledge, because, I mentioned this a lot of the times in my career that, most of the guys have very padded records, so that of course does not allow you to have real knowledge, when you're in these padded record fights. All my fights have been real fights, so that is a ton of knowledge that I have, and I love sharing it with, people that are interested in that. But that's not being a full-time coach, that's different. Commentary, as you mentioned, I've done that already. I worked actually for Setanta Sports for 2 years as a full-time commentator for all of their UFC events that they used to show, which was, an event per week, sometimes 2 events per week.
Did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed doing that. Really enjoyed doing that. Definitely something that I would consider, pursuing in my life, for sure. Obviously, would probably be more suited to be a commentator for like bigger leagues, just because to be a good commentator, you really have to know the guys, and if you're doing commentary, let's say for an amateur show or like a smaller show, and you don't know any of the guys, you don't know their stories, you don't know their path towards that fight, it's very hard to do very good, honest commentary,
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't like being bad at what I do, I don't enjoy doing a bad job, I want to do a good job, of course. So obviously, the big organizations is easier to do, because you in fact do know, all these people. And even when I used to do commentary and it was for UFC, I would have personal stories, personal stories of interaction with many of the fighters, because some of them I trained with, some of them I just seen them somewhere or spoke to them or just met, so that of course makes the commentary more personal, more accurate, and more entertaining in the long run.
So if Dana White gives you a ring tomorrow and says, we'd love for you to commentate on the next UFC, would you be straight in there?
Yeah, definitely. I for sure would be very, very interested in doing that. Now, having said that, the commentators that the UFC have are very, very experienced and very, very knowledgeable, and they do a lot of homework. They really, really prepare for it. So it's a very competitive world. But yeah, for sure, it's something that I would definitely enjoy doing.
Dana, are you listening? Come on, get the go in there. You won't get better, I think. Anyway, because you have a great sense of humor as well, and I think that you need that as well in commentary. You need that kind of for those moments when you're having a bit of crack in between fights and stuff.
I think you need the sense of humor in general in life. It's just it helps you. Sometimes there are certain situations in life that it's literally nothing to laugh about, and it's so serious, and it feels like nothing can help you. You can do nothing there, but even just having a little joke about it, it kind of just lightens the mood a little bit and gives you that bit of energy to keep going. I have certainly been in many situations like that in my life.
Yeah, it's like anytime I'm feeling low, I just ring Richie, and I just say, you're a one-eyed bastard, and I hang up the phone and I laugh. It's
and I sit there for the next 20 minutes crying. The kids looking at me saying, Dad, why are you crying? And I just say, it's another eye phone call. Another phone call about the eye. And my eldest Leah, she says, was it Jamie again? And I just say, yeah, it was, yeah. So they know the phone calls are incoming. But I'm glad that picks Jamie up. It raises his spirits a little bit, makes him feel a little bit better to poke fun at me.
Yeah. It's fun, It's fun to kind of.
It can be.
It makes me feel better about myself,
Especially when I'm talking in the mirror and I'm slagging myself. It's some of the best times I've ever had. Like just you big one-eyed freak. I fit the name though, the nickname for Richard. Which is Dick.
Oh, the nickname, yeah, it is Dick.
And most dicks have one eye.
True.
It's very true.
You shouldn't have told me that, because now I'm just gonna call you Dick from now on.
Yeah. Actually, when you were telling me the story of how you lost your eye, which was absolutely honestly, I could almost feel like pain in my own eye. It was weird, and I really wanted to hear it, but at the same time, it was really weird sensation in my own eye.
You should try it sometime. It's like you can't feel any pain, but
that's mad.
It'll soothe your thoughts. Then
but it actually reminded me of a story I had as well. And when I was a kid, I think I was like 5 years old or something, 5 or 6. This was still in Russia, and me and my neighbor, whose name was actually also Artem, we were good friends, but he was about 2 years older than me, and our parents were in the home. And I got my hands on chewing gum, because back then there wasn't you couldn't just get chewing gum anywhere. It wasn't as easy, it was just starting to appear, because Soviet Union collapsed and it just started to appear there. So we had some chewing gum, and I was blowing bubbles, and we decided, here, let's play a game where I'm gonna blow up bubbles. And he had this massive scissors. They're enormous. I don't know, the kind of scissors you use to fucking cut ships, floor or whatever. And he said, you know what, you're gonna blow up the balloons and I'm gonna cut them. So I was like, lovely, great idea. How didn't I think of that? So we started doing that. I started blowing up balloons and he started cutting them. But as he was cutting them, my chewing gum started getting smaller and smaller. So the bubbles that I was blowing up started getting smaller and smaller, till fucking they got really small, and he went to cut it and he cut my fucking lip off.
Oh, Jesus.
And half of my bottom lip was hanging by a thread, literally. Blood pissing everywhere. I'm screaming. Now we didn't know what to do, so we had to just holding my lip until my mom got home. My mom got home. She was in a panic. She tried to take me to the hospital. When she took me to the hospital, there was so much time had passed already that they said it's too late to put stitches in. So they wouldn't put any stitches in. And they said, look, you just have to, you know, keep trying to like hold it there, and hopefully, you know, it gets
It'll take
stuck back. And that's, my mom kept doing that, and she said every now and again the lip would kind of, you know, a little bit, the flap would fall back off, and she would just, you know, put it back there. But it actually healed perfect, and I have like a little scar here. But like after, when the doctor saw my scar, he said if we actually put stitches in, it would have looked worse.
Yeah.
No.
So
So what did you have to do with it? Sorry.
No, you can't.
yeah, she just disinfected it. We have this thing in Russia, it's called Zelionka, and it's basically a disinfectant that's like really bright green color. I don't fucking know what they put in there, but we use it for everything in Russia. Like anytime you have a cut or anything, so like a lot of
the
the time.
Soda cream in Ireland. We use that for
I
everything.
think
But
we have TCP.
But
I
that
think
thing
it's
is
called.
green. So like you see kids in Russia, you know, covered in this green fucking stuff, walking around, you know, and it's absolutely normal there. But like if you moved countries like I did, and people see you like all green, oh, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, if that had been my dad now that came home, he'd be like, "Get me the super glue, get me the super glue." He would have super glued it. So before, when my sister was younger, she one of my other siblings. I'm 7 years younger than my youngest sibling to me, which is Mary. I was born on her birthday. I took her birthday and the baby.
I mean, you're
baby
older.
symbol.
You're older one.
Well, my older sister, the youngest sister to me, the younger sibling to me. I'm the youngest.
Yeah, no, I
so the
get you.
second child
But
is Mary.
nobody says that.
So
You're mad.
Man, don't
So-
forget I'm Russian here, yeah. So you need to, you know, keep it simple, motherfucker.
My
Yeah.
youngest
Look at this guy showing off his native speaking skills. You want me to start speaking Russian now? That will show you.
But no, so my siblings were all like a good bit older than me, and I only heard the horror stories from them, you know. And so my sister Sandy, she got told by one of my brothers, so look into the exhaust there. And
my
yeah,
God.
into someone's exhaust. So she put her eye down at the exhaust, and the exhaust went off, and it cut underneath there. I think someone pushed the car, or the car started, or something like that. And yeah, she had a big scar, and the elf like, get the super glue, get the super glue. Another sister got split open. Get the super glue.
Your dad saying.
Yeah,
get the super glue.
this is me dad now. But I climbed the fence. Do you know the Irish fencing? The fencing that's like that. It's like security rails.
Did you
and
just
I
stick
got.
your fingers.
I
in
have a
Artem
story
Lobov?
about that.
Sorry about
You know why?
I fell on that. I have a big scar here, and went up to the.
Super glued it as well?
No, he. That's what he was saying. Get the super glue. I should go to the hospital. Dad, no,
Fucking-
you're grand. Super glue, mad. Like
Fucking-
if he had been a Twitch streamer, he would have been sponsored by Super Glue.
Yeah, call him in, maybe he can super glue me hair back.
What's
no,
your story,
but do
though?
you know this fence, right? Do you know? I remember now. It's actually, this place been closed forever now. But when I was in college, there was a place called Barcode.
Oh
Do you
yeah,
know
yeah,
this
yeah.
was like a
You used to
nightclub?
go to Barcode. No way.
Yeah. So me and two of my mates were trying to get in, and we got, it was Halloween actually. We tried to get in, massive queue as always outside Barcode. We got refused. So it says, you know what? We're gonna try and hop the fence, because this is like, there is like a gym there as well. So it's a big place, you know, and a big
I
fence all
remember
around.
there was factories and stuff for
Yeah.
beside it, wasn't it?
Now, little did I know, I said, right, I'll go first. But when I started climbing it, I realized they have put some kind of grease all over it to stop people from doing that.
Yeah.
That
climbing.
yellowy kind
Yeah.
of.
Now, I was fucking up there already. There was no way I was going to give up. Have you seen my fights? I don't tap out.
Yeah.
So, stupidly enough, I kept climbing. I was sleeping, but I managed to get across. When I get across, I look at my hands and I show them to my mates, and they're covered in this grease, and I can't get it off. They look at me and say, no, we're not fucking climbing. So I'm stuck on the other side of the fence, covered in this fucking grease, head to toe. I went in anyway, so I said, fuck, I have to get this off my hands, like, cause this is just like, I went into the bathroom, I soap everything, nothing would fucking help me. So I started rubbing my hands against the wall
Oh Jesus.
to try and scrape it.
Yeah.
So still didn't scrape it, but my hands started to bleed, like my hands were
Jesus.
bleeding.
Oh, no.
So I spent the whole night covered in this fucking grease, my hands bleeding and all scraped. My mates managed to get in somehow at a later, time, and they just kept laughing at me the whole fucking night.
That's
Do you know what would have got it off your hands? The green stuff from Russia.
Yeah, that fucking
Probably,
well.
yeah. Like I'd say a few lads were going home that night with hand marks down their back. Well done, mate. To rubbing his hands in them. Oh, good, fair play to you. That's a good dance move there.
He was like the Hulk going around Barcode.
Yes.
Imagine walking into a bathroom in Barcode and seeing Artem Lobov rubbing his hands down the walls. You. I tell you, I wouldn't be sticking around anyway. Big lad like himself would be straight out that door.
I know, back then I was 60 kilos. I was fucking tiny. I was skinny, tiny, and fucking bloody, dirty hands.
We didn't hear that in the Ultimate Fighter, that story, did we?
No.
Oh, brilliant.
Ultimate failure, more like.
That's the thing there that you said you've never tapped out, and fair play to you, because you'd see people tapping out. Like, as soon as you get in a rear naked choke or anything like that, no, I'm not getting out of this one. But you've never tapped out at all, have you?
You know, this one is a weird one. You know, I never like hold it against, you know, really other people, you know, tapping, because a lot of the times like you ain't getting out of this, you know. So, that's it. Like, so you know, you better live to fight another day, you know. But to me, like, my mentality about this was always. In training, by the way, I'd always recommend people tap out. Like, people that don't tap in training, that's just stupid. Because my mentality was always, well, training is your purpose is to be better. You have to go home better than you came in. If you don't tap out and you're going home with a broken hand, you're not going home better. You're going home worse. So what's the point in that? So you should tap in training and go again, try again. However, when you're fighting, the goal is to win. And if you tap, you're definitely not going to win. You'll lose. So that's why I never tapped and just kept going in a hope that I managed to get out and win. And there was other occasions where I was in a very sticky situations where other people might have tapped out, you know, but I didn't, and I managed to get out and then win a fight, or at least not get stopped by submission, you know.
Like I've seen you take, like, you have this stubbornness about you that you don't want to lose, and I've noticed that in your matches that, like, you've took a serious, like, few kicks to the head and just walked forward. Like, I'd be like, if that was anyone else, they'd be like probably flopped as a chair on the ground, like, take me out, you know. I'm done. But you have this stubbornness. Would you say that's a Russian stubbornness, or a stubbornness that you forged here in Ireland?
It's both. Born in Russia, forged in Ireland, you know. It's certainly both of them, you know, for sure. You know, that's why, you know, I always kiss both of my flags and I raise them at exactly the same time, you know, because I couldn't pick between the two, you know. It's, to me, it's like it's my mother and father, you know, Russia and Ireland. Of course, you know, I'm always proud of where I was born, but, you know, Ireland has given me so much. It is my home, you know. That's where my sister was born here. My son was born here. You know, I have so much love for this island, you know, and this nation, and I'm very proud, you know, to call Ireland my home.
And we're proud to have you as one of us.
Yes, 100%.
And I honestly, I don't even need to, like, it's nice to hear it, but I actually don't need to even hear it because I feel it here. Honest to God, I feel it here. You know, when I first arrived to Ireland, you know, as a little, you know, not little kid, but a teenager, you know, 15, 16 years old, you know, people always treated me with respect. You know, they gave me a job, no problem. When I worked, they said, there's your money, kid. You know, nobody ever, you know, fucked me over, nothing like that. I always got treated with, like, love and respect here. And I never forget that, you know, and I'm forever thankful.
Where do you think that never say die attitude that you had in the Octogon and in your fights, where do you think that comes from, and why do you think you have it and some other people don't? Like, what?
I don't know, to be honest. It's kind of hard to explain, I guess. I was born, my mom was pregnant with me, and I was born the same year as Chernobyl happened, so maybe that's got something to do with it. Maybe I'm missing a few, you know, vital parts in my brain.
Or maybe you grew slightly thicker skull and stuff like that to stop you from being from taking them punches. I'd never be able to put myself, like, and I've often seen some of your matches and going, how is he still standing?
Yeah.
Like,
But both
Yeah.
fighters, how are both of them still standing?
Funny you say that, actually, because in my fight against Andrew Fisher, I got kicked in the head earlier on in the first round,
yeah,
and that had me completely dazed. Actually, it gave me vertigo right there and then.
yeah.
Like throughout the fight, anytime I made any sudden movement, I realized that I'm losing balance. So I was like, oh, okay, don't make any movement, just fucking,
Yeah.
stay straight and keep punching. And I actually end up winning the fight
Yeah.
with 1 second left in the fight.
Yeah.
And a good friend of mine who is neurologist,
Mm-hmm.
he asked my permission to bring that to show that video in that fight and just speak about what happened to me and how I felt after at a big conference in New York where all the neurosurgeons and neuroscientists meet, because apparently he said with whatever condition I had there, I wasn't normally, people aren't even supposed to continue, like even walking should be difficult and everything, but not only did I walk, I was fighting for the whole fight and managed to win it as well, a very competitive fight. So I don't really know how, but I guess I just kept fighting,
Like it's great how you kept your composure, because I don't think then that Andrew kind of, like, he could see the kick happening, but maybe he was thinking then, right, it didn't affect him too much. You kept serious composure, and then, like, even at that, you came back, as you said, and won the fight. And now you have, like, a couple of thousand neurologists over in New York going, how? This goes against science.
Yeah. To be honest as well, what helped me as well, I can remember that in that fight, the fight was in the Helix in DCU, and DCU, that's where I went to college. And also, like a lot of my friends, family cheering me on, and like, it's only a small venue, like, I don't know, there's like 2,000 people or whatever there was, but it just, they made the atmosphere and the energy, you could just feed off it, it was just... then you're on this adrenaline or whatever it is, I don't know, emotion that cannot be explained probably by science, it's just something else,
It's like
and
something inner, like that happens, like, because when you look back at history and all these battles, they get battle rage, and like, it's like when you hear these, like, kind of mythical stories about the woman who crashed a car and the car was upside down and she lifted the car from the water to save her baby.
Hear stuff like that, don't
Like,
you?
it's the inner and like adrenaline and just something that happens inside of us to make us feel this way.
Yeah.
And some people class it as like a placebo, where you tell yourself, I can do this, and you go and do it, Like, it's one of those things that just, I think us as a human being don't quite understand how to control it, because then you'd have everyone in the octagon punching the head off each other and not getting knocked out as easy. But it's.
But I feel like anybody who is a high level fighter, whether it's UFC, whether it's MMA, whether it's boxing, they're different types of human beings to us, to me and you, Richie. Like, to be at that level, to be able to handle the pressure of it all mentally and still physically perform against somebody who's of a very high skill level too, is it's the closest you can get to superheroes. Really.
Well, the thing as well, there is definitely different levels of that to fighters, because the thing as well, you have to remember that there's a lot of fighters there that have, let's say, a high skill level, so they never have to or don't have to tap into that often, But there is other, fighters that might be, their skill might be not as big, but they have to tap into that, and that allows them to win all over the fights. Like, for example, a lot of the Diaz brothers fights, in a lot of their fights, they take a lot of punishment. So to me, that indicates that skill level wise, there might be somebody else that they're facing is superior to them, but they have that heart, that's something that you cannot train, that you cannot explain, and it is so big that they're able to then overwhelm their opponents with that, and there's a few guys like that, Tony Ferguson, and there's some guys exactly.
They have this relentlessness about them that they keep pushing forward no matter the punishment that they're taking.
Exactly.
And then they have, like, I noticed with the Diaz brothers as well, they have this attitude though that, like, it's like, you're not hurting me. This is nothing. I've seen Conor use this in his matches where he's like fobbing it off after taking a punch, and he's like, no, no, I've seen it with a good few people where they drop their hands and they're like, no, like let's go, let's continue.
Yeah,
And
Conor is very good at that. Like he can take a shot and just not even blink. I'm sure everybody knows the story at this stage, but in one of the sparrings with him, I end up catching him and breaking his cheekbone, and I'm not messing. He didn't even blink. Like we didn't even realize there was an issue until after, when we were like after the shower and all, and he was just like kept feeling his face and like something don't feel right there. And our coach John said, look, you have to go and get it, checked, because he wasn't going to even do it. And it turned out that there was a break, but within the spar, when the shot landed, it was like nothing. He just shrugged it off like it's nothing.
Yeah, and then you have Artem going,
trust me, he got me back plenty for it.
As somebody who's so close to Conor and have trained with him and been in his corner for some of the biggest fights he's ever done and stuff like that, what do you think, how did he become such a superstar? What separated him as a fighter? From the inside, you looking, and you would have seen so many fighters over the years. What's so special about him?
Well, of course, like the skill set. That's probably the main thing. To have a skill set like he possesses. It's you don't see guys like that. That's literally like just he was the only guy in the world that had that skill set.
Yeah,
that has the skill set. So, but also in terms of his like persona, like he was like very like real and honest, and everybody kept, I remember, saying, oh, he's got a marketing team behind him. And no, that's all bullshit, because a marketing team anybody can have, so you're not going to be original, and as a result you're not going to be as successful. I've seen the UFC try it with other fighters, not to like share on them or anything, but like for example Cody Garbrandt, great fighter, Sam had like an incredible skill set, and the UFC tried to replicate and try to make Conor out of him. They bought him the same suits from the same designer. They tried to do this and that, but he never reached that same level. Even though he's had some incredible performance, and like I said, he's unbelievable, skill set. But you just have to be you, and then people have to connect to it or not. But you can't just fake it. It's very, very hard to reach those highs by faking it, by having a marketing team. No, you just have to be you, and that was just Conor, and that's it.
Yeah, so just that just the skill set, and also his ability to be authentically himself, obviously in a heightened manner. Absolutely. When you're on the
like
big
even
stage.
Conor, just if he never even spoke, with the stuff that he was doing in the Octogon, like he would have been a huge star already. But then of course combine that with the persona that he is, the person that he is, the wittiness, the smartness of the responses, the quickness of his responses in the interviews, and that of course then propelled him to stardom that nobody else has ever achieved.
That's Dublin inner city for you, teaching you the wittiness and the responsive time of answering someone back.
Yeah.
To be on point, like
so quick though, isn't he? With his replies, even and with his replies in the Octogon as well.
Yeah, but like he's almost trained himself as well, because not many people would be able to do what he's doing by just talking to people and getting inside their minds. But he's doing it at a world stage, like in front of the whole world, and not feeling that pressure of, right, there's 100 million people watching me right now, rip into this guy. He's not thinking that. He's just just ripping into someone. But I think you need to get yourself, you would almost need to get yourself in that type of mindset. Like, forget the cameras. Let's do this. I'm getting in your head.
And the main thing is, first you have to work on your skill set, because then that gives you the confidence to not shy away, to not be afraid to say that, to not be afraid to fail in the Octagon after all that, because you need to have the skills. Like many people think, oh, Conor he's just talking. No, but what they don't realize is that he's had like years and years and years of work. He was actually, out of the whole team, he was the last one to even set up a Facebook account. He used to have nothing, but when he was ready, when his skill set was ready to be shown to the world, well, then he started talking, because he had something to show. And then when he put the spotlight onto himself, he was shining because you know he was ready for it. Whereas now I see people think, oh, you just have to read The Secret, this book or whatever it is, and just believe in yourself and imagine that I'm gonna do it and it's gonna happen. No, it ain't fucking happening, mate. You need to work for it like a motherfucker, non-stop, year after year. You
Every
know
good
what I mean?
house needs
All
a good
the
foundation.
time. You need to keep working, and only then you can, you know, okay guys, now my masterpiece is complete. Well, now I'm talking to promote it, to show you what I've been working on and what I've got. But the people do it the other way around now. Everybody starts talking. I see all these new fighters, they're talking and, you know, they think this. And then when the time comes and I'm looking at it, mate, so what were you promoting? You've got fuck all to promote. You haven't built anything yet.
They're faking it till they make it, but not making it.
Yeah, they're not doing the making it part first, which is really,
Like I can remember as well with like one of my friends was telling me he was training in SBG when it was up on the Long Mile Road, and he was going in there. I think he said it was either Christmas Eve or it was New Year's Eve, and nobody else was in the place, and Conor was in there training, sweating on his own. And then he says, I managed like to have a yap with him and stuff like that. But like that's what kind of dedication it takes. If you're doing, as you said earlier, what you want to do and you love what you're doing, it's gonna be like breathing to you, where it's a natural thing to you. Like,
exactly.
And to pull like yourself onto a world stage in front of these people, you need to put in that hard work and effort. You know, like as I was saying, like a good house needs a good foundation, and you can't just say there's a bit of plasterboard, they're gonna make a house. You know, you need to put in all the work that you see away from the screens and away from social medias and stuff like that.
I have to bring up Kieran and you fighting in the wheelchair against Kieran. Tell us firstly, what made you get involved?
Oh, you want to start talking about my loss as well? You better we're going to be here all day now then.
Tell us, what made you get involved in that charity event, and what did it mean to you?
I saw Kieran and I just wanted to punch him in the face, and I said, what a great opportunity. No, but to be honest, you know, with those type of things, you know, charity things, like if someone, you know, reaches out to me and it's a good cause, you know, I can see that it's not some fake things, which have been caught, you know, a few times with a couple of fake charities, you know. But, you know, when I see it's legit and everything is good and I have the time, I'm like, you know, how can I say no and then just sit at home, you know what I mean, knowing that I turned this down and didn't help them out. You know, there's been many people in my life that helped me out when I needed help. So I should also, you know, pass on, you know, return the favor to somebody else, you know, and help when I have time, especially, and I can do it. Well, then I'm not gonna say no, you know, even if I might be lazy to do it or not want to do it, but you know, I'll just do it anyway, you know. So that's exactly how that happened, you know. Stevo reached out, said, would you want to do it? I said, yeah, of course I'll do it, and that was it, you know. The rest, everything else was organized. I was like, look, you just tell me what you need from me and I'll do it. So they told me, look, we need you to batter Kieran there. And I said, hey, no problem at all, say no more.
Tell us though, when you sat in that wheelchair and you were in there and you were boxing, afterwards, did you think about it a little bit and a little bit about, because, you know, this podcast called the One Leg, One Eye podcast, and, you know, it's sort of themed around disability in a way, even though we don't have to talk about it all the time and stuff like that. But did it make you think like what it would feel like to be in a wheelchair all the time, or did you step into Kieran's or sit in Kieran's chair, so to speak, in a way, within his life, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly kind of, you know, reminds you of you know, that there are, you know, people in wheelchairs and, you know, the struggle that they have, the difficulty they have, and, you know, because before that event, I think mentioned it at the event when we were talking, that, you know, you just don't think about those kind of things. You go about your life and, oh yeah, everything is fine. And then when you actually look into it a little bit more, you realize there's all these issues that they have. You know, Kieran, you know, was sharing with me, and Steve was the same, you know, even getting into like a simple thing, going for a walk. could be problematic for him. Just getting out to get a bit of, fresh air. This could be very problematic. There's certain, place where there's just curbs and you can't cross the road. Or, there's stairs, no lift, that's it. He can't suddenly, go somewhere. And of course, I was like, hold on a second. This is crazy to me. And also the fact that, obviously I lived in a few different countries in my life, and coming to a place like Ireland, I always felt like, all this would be taken care of here, because obviously it is a very wealthy country, things are taken care of here and people are taken care of here. So I never felt that they might have issues. And then I realized that, no, hold on a second, they do still, need more, we need to raise more attention, we need to help them resolve all these issues that they're having. So for sure, that event certainly made me look at that issue in a very different perspective, and in a very different it showed it to me in a very different light, and I'm glad that it did. I'm a lot more aware now. Now even like if I am on the street and I'm walking now on the street, like since that event, if I'm walking on the street and I see, let's say, a person in a wheelchair and I see we're coming up to a crossing, I straight away look, what sort of crossing is it? Is there a curb? Is there this? Maybe, I will ask them, look, do you need me to give you a hand or whatever, I always straight away notice them, and all that pops into my head immediately. So I think definitely that was a very good thing. If everybody can have those thoughts in their head, for sure it will make, life easier for people like Kieran,
That's it. And even just us having this conversation now for a couple of minutes about it changes a lot of things for people. And
even to be honest, even after because initially when I first saw Kieran, I just couldn't stop myself to kind of almost feel like staring, at him in the wheelchair. But then after I'm kind of talking to him, suddenly I don't really notice it anymore. And even now, when I just, see, I just kind of glance over it. And I think the other person can feel it as well. I'm sure he could remember even Kieran saying it to me, he can feel sometimes when the person is staring kind of at you. And obviously that could make him feel uncomfortable. But if everyone is more aware of that and kind of, it becomes absolutely normal, after seeing those kind of events that we did, then it's going to be a lot easier and better for Kieran as well, I feel, emotionally.
yeah, because we're all the same.
Yeah.
We're just in different shells. That's all it is. We all feel the same in our heads, regardless of if you're missing an eye, if you're missing a leg, and I love the title you had for this podcast, which when we were talking on the phone, you were like, Jamie, you have to call it the One Leg, One Eye, One Russian podcast. Sorry, that was a terrible accent, but
so one leg, one eye, one Russian guy.
Yes, yeah.
We can make a rhyme.
Very good. Look at this guy now.
So I believe there's it's happening again. So I believe, and this time yourself and Connor as well are going to be taking part, from what I've heard.
Yes, that's what I heard as well. I believe it's in April, correct? That it's meant to happen. I'm not sure. I haven't
I'm not sure
had a
either.
confirmation yet, but from what I've seen on Twitter, from Stevo, that's where they're planning to hold it.
Do you know who you're fighting this time? Is it Kieran again, or is it somebody
No,
else?
this time I'm fighting Paddy Holohan.
Oh, are you actually? Okay.
But we will be in wheelchairs, but we will go at it.
You'll go for it, will you? Proper?
Yeah, sure. Me and Kieran went for it, and now, because also just a little kind of secret I will share with you is that Kieran is planning to hold a similar event in Scotland.
Okay.
Because he says there's nothing ever been held like that, and it's something that he's potentially looking to hold, and he wants to give me a rematch.
Nice.
He wants to give me a chance to, get back at him. But he said I first have to win my fight against Paddy, because he says he doesn't want to be facing no losers. So
I love it.
He's already trying to get into your head.
He's such a legend, though. He's such a legend.
I tell you that the motherfucker, with that comment, man, he rolled right over my feelings. Thanks for that, Kieran.
We're coming up to now the 60 minutes.
Yeah, we let it roll for a couple more minutes while we're having the chats. But I'm looking forward to that one. I think I'm going to be a guest judge as well. So, just because you're on my podcast, I won't be biased if Paddy's watching this. I'll try to give my best opinion on what I see, unless you want to slip a cheeky 50 on the way out. But no, I'm looking forward to that. And I think... as we had Stevo on last week, and I was saying to him, big props for him sorting that out and but also for everybody to get involved, because it really made us seeing you there and Stevo and Al Farn and other people. And then I can't wait to do it again and see it again. And with Conor getting involved as well, it's going to be even bigger this time around. So no, I'm looking forward to it. And who do you think will win? I think Conor's fighting Al Farn. Do you think Al Farn might have a chance? Will he be able to use his impressions to impersonate Conor's movements, maybe?
Well, Al Farn might have a chance of survival. That's about it. Like, in terms of winning, I don't think it's looking well for him.
Brilliant stuff. I heard people were asking you. This was me and Richie were talking about this yesterday, and we weren't sure how to kind of ask the question. Because Richie was saying that you've said that you might come out of retirement for a particular type of person, or did we mix that up? Is that ever a possibility?
Yeah, to be honest, not like there is no really possibility, in terms of me actually coming out and just being competitive and being on the market again. But as I mentioned, something that I always pushed towards during my career was a 7-figure payday, and I was getting closer, but it didn't happen. But it's something that I would be interested in coming back for. And there was obviously some beef that had to be settled, against Tuhugov. He is one of Khabib's teammates, that we were meant to fight. The fight was pulled then last minute, so it was something that I still kind of would like to get done at some point in my life, of course. And so those two conditions, something that I would consider, coming out and having a fight. Other than that, I'm retired. I'm off the market. That's it.
So you're retired, but the full stop isn't quite fully edged into the sentence just yet.
Yeah, definitely. And to be honest, also I'm considering doing some grappling. Not maybe tournaments, but just fights, grappling fights, because one of the big reasons, for my retirement was also brain trauma. There's no secret, the longer you stay, the more trauma you get. It's kind of, even someone as dumb as me can figure that one out. So, so I was like, okay, I have to, stop. But of course, training and competition is something that I really enjoy and love. Mm-hmm. So grappling, doesn't really give you any head trauma. And it's really enjoyable sport. It's something you can do late into your life. The great Helio Gracie, he unfortunately passed away not too many years ago, but he's done it into his 70s. So, it's something I definitely am looking to compete in at some point, maybe this year or next. But yeah, that one I definitely will compete in.
We're looking forward to seeing it happen. Richie, will we do the segment that we were going to do, or what you think?
Let's do a little segment, right?
We'll explain to you. Don't worry, Art.
We're going to do the agony aunt segment, isn't it?
Yeah, agony aunt. So what we're doing, Artem, we're asking people to write into us with their problems in life,
okay,
and we'll give them some very
highly
unprofessional advice. So,
well, there's one thing I can tell you. I can give you a lot of hair loss advice. Because that one I'm an expert at. Trust me, like when I was going through it, man, it was hell, man.
Did you ever try and grow it back? Did you ever use creams? Or?
I used everything.
Really?
Any kind of cream, any kind of shampoo. I used to then style it, like kind of build a little kind of house, to cover the bald patches, And man, rain used to be my enemy. Like anytime it started raining, I'd get a mini heart attack. Quick, hide, like.
Why? Why?
Because it would ruin my, my... whatever I had built up there, you know what I mean, to hide the baldness. Or swimming, like, you go swimming, like you don't want to, you don't want to go underwater, like, because you wet your hair, it's suddenly, it's like the bald patches become visible, and man, you like, oh no. And honestly, it was the best feeling ever when you actually finally just shave it off, and you just all right, what the hell was I like?
Would you ever
so afraid
consider getting a hair transplant? Would you ever?
I honestly thought about it as well before. Now, when I was still fighting, the big thing for me was that you'd have to stop training for like 6 months, because you can't train, otherwise it will just fall out again. And another reason is that you have to spend like 6 hours of somebody scraping your skull, basically putting the hairs back in. And also then I was like, I'm used to being bald now, so it's like, I mean, I couldn't be bothered with 6 hours of that hell just to have a bit of hair. No, fuck that. Just, shave it off, give it a nice little polish for extra shine, and that's it.
Lovely stuff.
I love
Lovely
And
it.
also, man, it's great, for those of you that are single. It's also a great dating tool, because if you are on a date with a lady, she doesn't need to bring a little mirror. She can see her reflection in your bald head. So trust me, there are many benefits to baldness. Up the baldness.
It's mad though how, and I know I'm bringing it back to disability again, but it's mad how relative our problems are.
Yeah.
Like me, looking at you years ago, maybe when you were losing your hair, wouldn't even think twice about it. But in your head, you're like, oh, fuck, it's raining. And everyone's going to see. Like, and it'd be like, for me, sometimes I'm only starting to wear shorts now, and I'm 31.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like, oh, no, I don't want people staring at me.
Yeah.
But now I don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? But for you wouldn't even think of me not wearing shorts. You'd be like, why wouldn't he wear shorts?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just mad how all of our insecurities in life are all relative to us.
That little voice.
Yeah.
Like the body image voice saying like, this is a problem. And it's not like, you know what I mean? Like I wear this patch, I can walk around without it. But I'll have blurred vision, and then I'm trying to concentrate on kind of two visions then, and everything seems hazy when I don't wear the patch. But when it comes to it, I've no problem with doing either. But there's always that voice, and then when I'm talking to people, or if I'm talking to someone and they're behind someone, happened only yesterday in work. So I was talking to Chris, my lead, and there was another lad in between us, Mark, and I was talking to Chris, and I seen Mark like that, and then answering me, and I said, I wasn't talking to you, Mark, I was talking to Chris.
So you had to patch off, was that? And yeah.
So imagine me being afraid of rain and living in Ireland.
That's
When I thought about changing countries.
Really?
No, I wasn't. It's raining again. I guess I'm staying in.
Well, you picked the wrong country to come to.
You'd be
After 3 years of staying in, I decided to shave it off. And
you'd be a hermit. You'd never leave the gaff. Oh, that's hilarious. So, what have people been asking? Now, this is advice in general. It's not necessarily so we can all chime in with our own bits of advice.
So we have one that's related to disability here. This is one from someone who wanted to be anonymous.
Okay.
So, what is the best way to ask about a person's disability?
Okay, I'll go first, then you can go second, Richie. The best way to ask is to ask in a polite way, in my opinion. When you meet somebody first, don't just say, like, for me, I always appreciate if someone says, hello, Jamie, what's the crack? First. And
you've started a very serious conversation, and it's making me laugh for some reason. I hate that. I'm sitting here like, I'm just do not fucking smile during this. Oh, guys, you're going to get me deported. Fucking hell.
No, but simply...
You don't like someone coming up going, how are you, where's your leg?
Yeah, like straight, like greet the person first, say hello first.
Where's your leg?
Like break the ice, like you know what I mean. Like
maybe
just,
like, what's your name?
Yeah.
Not sorry, you look very interesting. What's your name? Can I say hello to you? My name's Michael. My name's Jacinta. Whatever your fucking name is, and then say sorry. I'm just very interested. I think it's always key to say, I'm very interested, or I'm actually just a little bit curious. I hope you don't mind me asking. And then ask. Yeah. Rather than just go up to them and going, how are you? What happened to your leg, you big idiot? You know?
Like, I've had this with me eye. Yeah. I've had this. I've had, like, taxi drivers say, sorry, mate, what happened to your eye? And I'm like, hello, nice to meet you as well. Yeah, taxi driver, how's the weather? How's work? You know? But no.
What happened to your face, you cunt?
No, but I don't mind, you know, like if someone's inquisitive, I'll say, look, it was a knife accident when I was younger.
Man, that was hell, honestly. Like, now you start mentioning it again, and I'm starting to feel it again.
But like it's just like it's water off a duck's back for me for someone to say, like, how's it going? Like, I don't mind now, but that's me personally. If someone just says, what happened to your eye, mate? You know, like, I don't mind. But if someone goes, here, you big gunner-eyed bollocks, yeah, what happened to that? Like, where you looking? Like, type of thing. That's when you're like, don't be a dick.
Yeah. And if you are curious, do ask people and
Yeah.
have a conversation with them about it. And you know, be curious, because there's nothing wrong with that. You know,
Yeah.
like I remember meeting you, Artem, and you were like, I found it so cool that you were interested, you know, because I'm a fan of you. And you were like we said hello first and had our chats first, had a cup of tea. And then you were like, oh, I see what happened to your leg, kind of a thing. And we had a conversation about it. But you could see it's coming from a place of curiosity and kindness and conversation. And we
someone
need that.
Wants to know, like, is interested in your story and what happened behind it. Like, it's one of those things that don't just walk up to someone and say, I can see you're disabled there, what happened? Like, do you know what I mean? Break the ice. Say, look, like, I want to know about you. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? And that way it'll come to them naturally to say, well, as you can see, like, I have blurred vision in like me eye. I'd start off my eye is lazy. That's because when I'm trying to focus, my pupil is drooped, and the eye tries to focus in on the pinpoint of where the droop is, and that's why it causes it to go up and be lazy.
For you, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, finish your. Like.
So, like, when it comes to it, we have like a tennis match here for Artem.
Sorry.
But no, like, when it comes to it, like, just ask the person about themselves. Let it be natural. Don't force a conversation, because if you try force it and you're gonna make them feel uncomfortable then. And
read the room.
Yeah. Like, it don't.
If they feel like they don't want to talk about it, back off.
Exactly.
Like, because some people aren't like us, Richie. We're, you know, we're obviously putting ourselves in front of the camera here. And
I don't want you coming up to me asking what happened to me here.
That's what I was gonna say. Any advice for ask if people want to ask you why you're baldy? How should they ask? It's the same question, though.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same question in a way. You know.
Yeah, but well, it's in a way, but you know,
Like, I
wouldn't really compare, you know, that to legitimate, you know, situations like used to have, you know.
Like, I consider it like I'd never ask someone about their baldness.
No, because I was joking, obviously.
Because in most senses, if I had no control over something, it makes it that much more personal, you know. Like, and that's like, and I'm not saying you have control over a disability, but I'm just trying to say that people can be very insecure about certain things. So just if you ask them about themselves and they open up a little bit and you see they're loose with the conversation, then ask about it.
But we get a free pass, though. Like, I think we get.
I don't get a bus pass.
No, but we get we get a free. We get a little bit of a free pass to kind of say why you're baldy, because they're, you know, look at us. We can have a bit of crack. People know it's coming from a joke as well. You know. I don't know. Anyway, what's the next?
So right, let's move on. Right? So this is from Thomas. He wanted to be announced, right?
Thomas, Irish gaming streamer,
and
is on Twitch. Yeah.
We had a little bit of input off Artem already on this, and it is. Thomas would like some dating advice. So he wants to get into the dating game. So any advice on that?
Well, nowadays, I mean, it's with all the apps, isn't it? Like, that obviously makes it kind of easier, you know, because you can at least break dice already. So when you go to meet the person, it's not, you don't completely know anything about them. You have something to talk about already. Yeah, dating is hard, like, especially for you know, especially when you look like me.
Well,
you know, it's I remember watching it because the way it kind of, you know, I almost, you know, it's difficult for men and women, but for different reasons, you know. For men, you know, there's obviously some men, you know, that get all the women, you know, and it's no problem for them. But if you're one of the unlucky ones, like myself here, then it's, of course, you know, you're not getting, you know, all this offers, you know, so it's like, you know, it can probably feel like very, you know, frustrating, you know, you're, you know, getting turned down, but you just have to keep going, I guess, you know. This is one of those.
Sometimes it can be almost hard to read like certain women, like if you're out on a night out and you notice someone maybe looking at you, Well, I'm screwed in that sense because I'm looking all over the place, you know. But it's okay to laugh at them. It's okay. I'm making the joke, but
No, but another thing I'd say in Ireland, especially, like I find like on nights out is harder to kind of meet people, you know, like
Yeah.
like a legit relationship. It's I don't know what it is like, but it's I don't know. I think on nights out, like girls here have more of a guard up
Yeah.
than like, for example, let's say when I compare it to, let's say, Russia or something, you know,
Yeah.
there it's a lot easier. Like whenever let's say you're working here with a girl or something, they're very, you know, like chatty, you know, very approachable,
Yeah.
very easy to kind of talk to, and of course then it leads easier. But if you work in an environment where there are no women, you know, then
Yeah.
obviously it's hard for you. And on night out, it's, you know, the women here have like really like guard up, you know, and it can be hard to approach as well. So I think in that sense, probably, you know, the social media kind of helped, you know,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, you know. But I think honesty is very important, you know, when you even on these apps and all, you know,
Yeah.
because you don't want your first meeting to be a disappointment, you know. You don't
Yeah.
want to start off, you know, with the disappointment.
Yeah.
You know, you want it to be honest. You want, you know, to, I guess, be patient, you know, and talk, you know, and don't be pushy, you know.
Yeah.
Let the girl, you know, get to know you, because I do think that for women looks are a lot less important than they are for men, you know. For women, you know, if a guy is a good, you know, husband, good partner, you know, good father, you know, that is very, you know, a lot more important, I feel.
Yeah.
So you have to, I guess, have a conversation with her, you know, continue conversation to, you know, give her an opportunity to get to know you, you know, what you really are like
Yeah.
as a person, you know.
And to show your qualities, like
Yeah,
to show,
exactly,
to
show
show
your
what kind of catch you are. You
exactly.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
To go on the honesty, how you can tell as well if someone is being honest with you, maybe on a first date or on the first couple of dates, is if it's a bad thing. Nobody on a first date or like the first few times is going to tell you a certain bad thing. So you can best believe that they're telling the truth if it's something bad about themselves. You know, like that they smoke, or like
Yeah.
smoking isn't necessarily bad, but you can believe
Oh, it is
in
bad.
that. You know,
Smoking is bad.
Also, I find, you know, like jokes, you know, like women love jokes, you know, like if
Yeah.
you can have a couple of jokes, you know, or even like have them ready or whatever. Or another thing as well, if there's something that, let's say, that you're not happy with about yourself, making a joke about it can make it seem okay. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it almost lightens the mood and
Yeah.
makes the other person more comfortable about it as well. And makes you more comfortable as well about it. And it's, you know, people kind of, and then suddenly something that might be viewed as negative, but because you made a joke about it, suddenly they don't view it that way, you know. They just kind of, oh, look, this guy doesn't take himself too seriously, you know. He's like, I would joke about myself all the time about, you know, the baldness or, you know, whatever else, you know, being short or, you know, having
some
short
women-
arms or
Some women love the baldness. They do.
Yeah,
some
yeah.
women are
Some ladies
really
like
well, I don't know now.
He's-
I haven't met them yet.
But I know what you're saying as well. It's like if they're telling you some stuff that they're not quite proud of on a
Yeah.
first date, that's a good sign as well, because you know it shows that
They're
they're
opening
honest. But some great advice there from both of
Yeah,
you. So
like,
Thomas, I don't think you can ask for better advice than that. You know,
Artem is a man of many wise
there you
words.
go. Maybe
Definitely.
a new show on RTE will be dating with Artem, and it'll be just Artem will be the side man. Helping people out in their ear while they're on the date or something. That could be.
I'd actually watch
it.
that.
I'd watch it.
I'd definitely watch that.
So yeah, keep going. And another thing is like
After running the show for 2 years and 0 successful relationships, we've decided to pull the plug on this.
So yeah, Thomas, my advice as well, and I can barely give advice on this subject at the moment, let me tell you, but would be you know, go on a few dates as well. You know, don't, because sometimes people go on one or two and they have bad experiences on the date and they think, oh, this dating thing isn't for me.
Yeah.
It's not that the dating thing isn't for you, it's that the two people that you went out to weren't really compatible with you and they didn't get you, you know. Maybe. So there you go, Thomas. Let us know what you thought of that advice in the comment section as well. Is there any more? Do
We have one more here.
One more.
So how to this would be more for streaming, but we can incorporate it maybe into into showbiz, like entertainment with yourself, Artem, and how you come across in front of the media. So, KD Gaming is asking how to get into full-time streaming and how to make content that appeals to the audience. So how we'll incorporate that into like entertainment for yourself is like in like pre and post interviews of fights and stuff, how you like address yourself to the fans and make yourself appealing. So we like, do you have like, maybe we'll go on it first, and then we can incorporate kind of into
we'll do that. So I'd say try and be authentic.
Yeah.
Is the most important thing with this, and I'm still trying my best to be authentic. And you know, the more I do it, and the more I get in front of camera, I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to being myself in front of camera. I don't think anyone is ever fully themselves in front of camera. You know, you're at a heightened level. But I think if you just try to be authentic and don't try to be somebody else, you know, and you see it, you can reference it towards any career or anything. Like, you know, Artem Lobov in his own right is a superstar, but he's completely different in his style of speaking and in so many ways to Conor McGregor. But he's Artem Lobov and he's Conor McGregor. They're two different things, but they're both authentic, you know. So authenticity, just being yourself, firstly, is the most important thing. If you tune into a YouTube video or a Twitch stream and it's the same as everybody else's, and you're acting the same and you're using the same words that everybody, the same buzzwords, like that Richie sometimes used to use. What was it? The thing that everyone was saying.
What?
That thing that I hate.
Sheesh?
Yeah, sheesh, all that. Be yourself, you know, a little bit.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you're slagging
It's
the same, but
football.
I'm a fan of Ronaldo though, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't a dig at you.
Well, I'm digging at you, bollocks, right?
But authenticity is one, and then I think after that is try and make stuff. If you're making a YouTube video, try and make it a little bit unique in its own way. The whole thing doesn't have to be unique. Maybe just a little segment of it is unique, or a little part of it is unique. Try and make it original. And that's it. And then just go for it and have the crack and have fun with it. And I think some people as well, they think that because they like gaming or something that they're gonna love streaming. They're gonna love being in front of camera and talking. But the two of them aren't the same thing. Like, actually sit down with yourself and say, is this what I enjoy? Or do I enjoy looking at it more than I enjoy doing it? Don't force yourself to do it if you feel like you're not enjoying it. Maybe think of something else to do. But KD, I know you enjoy doing the streams, and you're still very young. I think he's like 18. So you have a lot of time to figure out what way you want to do it. And you know, don't give up, especially at such a young age either.
Keep going. If you have a passion for it, keep going. As Artem was saying earlier, like if you love something, definitely keep at it. So, like, some of the advice that I'd give is don't quite pay attention to fancy mics or fancy cameras. Like the best thing you can do, and especially someone who might not have the funds to invest in high-end equipment. The best thing that you can invest in is yourself. And as Jamie was saying, your uniqueness. If you can find that you can tell funny puns or funny jokes, if you can talk your way through certain, if you're into playing games and not so much just chatting, if you can say something about what's happening on screen and make people think about that in a different light, you can almost be unique in your own way of telling a story of what other people are seeing in front of them, and it can make things funny. That's what I kind of do. I try to, like, I make up words for slagging people, like you big, like I can't even think of something off the top of my head, but you big sausage head or something like that, where people would think I was gonna like lay into someone, but I'm not, like, and sometimes I call myself names, like when I'm playing games, like Richie, a big bleeding donkey. Like, it's find your little quirks and run with it, and then progress. Then get the cameras and get get the mics. But if you can't afford a good camera, make sure that your mic is good, because coming across the microphone, if someone is watching kind of a blurry screen, it's grand enough to
Also,
gain.
if you look like me, you definitely don't want a good camera. Make sure it's nice and blurry.
But yeah, like just focus on yourself. Don't worry about the material things. Worry about you, and see if you're a good fit for what you're trying to do, and find your uniqueness.
But it takes time as well.
It does.
It takes time.
Yeah. Lots of practice.
Like you know, if I tried to do this 10 years ago, with you know, having the likes of somebody I'm a big fan of, Artem Lobov, coming down, I wouldn't have been able to do it when I was 18, 19. You know.
Yeah, I think it's important to to not just say, oh, I want to make money from, let's say, doing podcasts or streaming. What can I show people in order to make money? Then that's not a good setup. It has to be, I love doing something and I do it all the time. Okay, let me show that to people now. That's how the most successful, let's say, podcast Joe Rogan happened. He loved talking to different people, to different friends about different topics. He really enjoyed doing that. And then he just decided, okay, well, let me actually film it and show it to people. So it became a success. And the same with other things, you know, like Conor or whatever with fighting. You know, he started boxing when he was 9. He just loved doing it, enjoyed doing it. And then he said, okay, well, I can actually maybe make money with that. Let me show it to the world. And then it becomes successful.
Yeah.
And what would you say, just in terms of success in general, what would you say would be the number one, or a couple of things that you know you would give advice to people on to be successful, like that you've done in the past?
You just keep working. That's the only way to do it. You know, the Wright brothers, you know, the first plane they built didn't fly, you know. The first 1,000 planes they built didn't fly. But they kept building planes, and now look, we're flying across the world.
Yeah. So repetitiveness and keeping that at what you're doing.
And fixing the mistakes, obviously, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't keep making the same plane that kept falling down. You know, they looked, okay, what can we fix? What can we improve? And then it got better and better and better over time, and then, you know.
So, like, how we can incorporate that back into streaming is watch back your VODs, look at your mistakes that you've made, and like if say you get 5 people in, or even 1 or 2 people in watching you, and you're talking to them, and you go out, maybe you'll notice something. Maybe you paid attention too much to what you were playing, and you kind of missed what you were saying, and then they left. Like look at your flaws and try. I'm not saying try to change how you behave, but try maybe pay more attention to, say if you're not paying attention to a screen where the chat is, to try maybe look up every couple of seconds, you know, like to train yourself to accommodate to people coming in and viewing you, because anyone can go into any channel and watch someone gaming and not talking to them. Anyone can do that, and they can go on to someone else who has like 14,000 or 30,000 people, or even 100,000 people watching them, and they're interacting sometimes with chat, because the bigger streamers, they tend to, because there's so much going on, they can't quite focus on the chat as much, so they focus on themselves, and it's their personality that's coming across that people end up liking. You know?
Yeah, no, great advice there again from everybody there. I think you got your...
Shine bright like a baldy.
Would you ever do a podcast yourself, Artem? Or have you ever done one?
I don't know. I've gone on many podcasts, but I've never done my own one. I don't know if I'd have enough to talk about, you know, to run something every week, you know.
I think you would. I think it'd be great.
I don't know.
I think people
you're very articulate with your words, and like I've been more quiet today, like listening, because
I know. Thank God for that.
I know, yeah.
Christ.
You just get a break this week. But no, I
joking.
when you were talking, Artem, and I'm not trying to make your head bigger or anything, but the way you were explaining things, it does, like, it makes sense, and it's quite relevant, and you get your points across, and you articulate your words quite
Thank you.
quite good for like, and I think a podcast or like setting up a Twitch stream or something like that, I think could be very, very successful.
Who
for you.
knows? We might see it in the future. Let us know as well in the comments below. Would you like to see Artem do his own podcast? Would you like to see him do more online in terms of Twitch or YouTube? I'm sure he'd be happy to see some of the comments coming in on that, and Dana White as well. Get on to him and get him doing some commentary as well. But it's been a pleasure, man.
Dana is actually watching live right now.
I know he will be definitely watching. He'll definitely be watching. No, it's been a pleasure having you on. We could
Thank you.
chat for hours. What an enjoyable and funny chat we had. Is there anything coming up or anything that you'd like to promote or over the next couple of weeks or months for you? Or
No, don't need to promote anything. Just promote happiness.
What a legend. I'll promote Artem Lobov on Instagram and stuff, usernames. If you just search Artem Lobov, you'll find them.
I think on Instagram, are you the Hammer?
Rush Hammer.
Rush
Hammer. There you go. Definitely hit that follow button and support him. You heard the kind and honest words from him today, so go show him a bit of support there. And
Thank you.
And if you enjoyed the podcast, go tweet at him and remind him how good it was, so we can get him on again in a couple of months' time.
Yeah.
And I'd love to get you down one time if you're ever free over the next couple of weeks or months to play some UFC live, because this is pre-recorded. But I'd like to get you on to play some UFC.
Hey, we can do it for sure. I don't even play video games anymore.
Yeah, just for the crack, I've never played it either.
Yeah,
There we go.
definitely. Let's do
Nice.
it.
What a legend. He said it now, so he's a man of his word. It's going to happen.
Well, that'll give you a little taste of the Twitch streams, maybe, and maybe it can spark a bit of interest for you. You know.
Yeah, we'll see if he likes it.
Certainly. I'd love to do it.
So, Richie, where can people go to follow this podcast on social?
So you'd be looking for OLOE pod. So it's at OLOE pod. And then we have the one leg, one eye pod then on Twitch.
Twitch?
On Twitter.
Okay.
The wrong twit. The wrong twit. But yeah,
And do give us in comment if you have some life advice you want for next week's segments as well. Like you heard, if you have any questions,
Yes.
It can be trivial, it can be funny, it can be a bit of crack. Tend to be light-hearted questions though, nothing too serious, because we're not tackling those type of issues.
right.
Serious ones.
Will we end it on the proper opponent?
Oh,
Should
do you
we
have that? The segment? Do you have time, Artem? Do you have?
Let's do it.
So you need to let us know if this story that I'm going to tell you is
here we
proper,
go.
is true, or pony, it's false.
Okay.
So pony, I don't know if you'd heard the word pony here in Ireland. We use it.
I've only been here about 20 years, so I think I've heard every word.
Yeah, for
There
shit.
is.
So when someone says that's pony, they mean
He
it's
knows.
you're
He
talking
knows.
pony. Yeah?
He knows.
So
Richie.
proper.
Hey, I'm not
pony.
as stupid as I look, yeah?
Take
so-
that camera up just if you're doing that segment.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it?
Let's see.
There we go.
There we go.
Right.
So, I'm gonna tell a story, and if you think I'm telling the truth, you can let us know it's proper, or if you think I'm bullshit now, me.
Yeah, Richie, we get the idea of what. All right.
I'm making sure everyone does. Right? So when I was younger, I broke into a factory, and it was a factory that made plastic for the crisps to go over, to put the crisps in. And we broke in and we robbed a few rolls of this stuff, and we put it out in the field. And I climbed up on the roof, and I was the first one to go. It was about a 25-foot roof, and I ran and I jumped off, and I missed it. I over jumped it, and I jumped up off the ground, and me feet gave out from underneath me. I was after cracking one of my ankles and overextending the other, and I spent a couple of well, it was about a week in hospital. So would you reckon that that's proper? Or
Did you
pony?
still have your eye back then?
I still had my eye.
Yeah. I mean, it could easily happen, as a kid, but I think it's false.
So he thinks it's pony. So I'll let you know after the podcast whether it's proper or pony, because we want the chat involved in this. Do you think that story is proper or pony? Do you agree with Artem that I'm absolutely ponying out my mouth? Or do you think that it's proper? Do you think that I spoke the truth today? So
Yeah, let us know in the comments
Yeah.
what you think. Is Richie talking shy, or is he talking truth? Proper or pony? I love that segment. And look, we'll catch us all again. What a great second episode it was. Thanks again, Artem Lobov.
Thank you for having me, guys.
For coming, and it's Richie F as well for being a great co-host of the One Leg One Eye podcast. Links to all the socials are in the description. We'll be back again next Sunday for episode 3. We don't know who the guest is just yet, but we look forward to seeing who it is. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Jamie J. Carr,
and I'm Richie F.
and this is the One Leg
One Eye
Podcast.
Yeah.